Always enjoy a yarn with this man on the country, Winston Peters, New Zealand First Leader. He's all fired up. Winston, would you support the lowering of the voting age to 16? I certainly don't. I'd imagine it's in your best interest not to anyhow.
Well, it's even pointed out by those who recommended it at the court level that it would favour one side, but that's not the issue. If anybody's been involved in criminal law, as I have been, and been a lawyer for the first part of my life, that there were countless times when you'd go to court with a young person and you'd be trying to say, look, this person is not mature enough, not experienced enough to be held responsible in the way an adult would. So that plea's been used over and over again, and all of a sudden they're saying, no, they are able at 16 years of age. So why not 14? Why not 12?
Why are we looking, or why are politicians looking to perhaps lower the age of eligibility for voting at local body level? What's the difference?
Well, it's a way of undermining the central government by saying, well, we can't stop them at central government because it requires a 75% majority. And so we'll just do it at local government with a bare 50% majority to do so. So instead of having the same system for local and central government voting, they're going to change it. And that's confusing. And people are already confused at this point in time.
Lots of confusion out there. We'll talk about some confusing topics in a moment. In fact, let's start right now. COP27. What a waste of time that was.
Well, it was. When you've got China that is exempt because it's a developing nation, and it's not. It's a thoroughly developed nation. And you've got India and Russia not in. How are we going to ever get anywhere unless that is the focus and concentration of COP27? Never was last time and never was this time. So it's a serious, serious concern. And meanwhile, we're out there setting, by virtue signalling, a special premium price for our product because of the imposition of taxes and costs on farming in New Zealand. This is disastrous. And this virtue signalling has got to stop. You know, I mean, it goes on and on. Take the other one. Zero suicides. That's the government's target. Zero roads deaths. That's the government's target. This is la-la land, virtue signalling with no reality at all.
If you had been around the cabinet table in the last term of this government, or the current term, should I say, would you have been a handbrake around a carbon tax effectively?
Well, but we were. That's the point. We were there when we were making it a real possibility to get there with the farming community on our side. But what happened at the last moment, they secretly brought in two charges, ignored the farming community, and as a consequence, that's what you got now. And it'll be the death of a lot of farming in this country at a far greater percentage than people think.
You won't get an argument from me. 3 Waters has now kind of become 5 Waters with geothermal and foreshore water included. Look, even the Prime Minister is confused about the terminology around this one. How the hell does she or the government expect Joe Average to understand this?
Well, you're quite right, but it's not 3 Waters, it's 5 Waters and parks. In fact, to be honest, I don't want to be rude on your program, but it's 6 Waters. They're pissing down your back and telling it's raining.
That's the best summation I've heard about 3 Waters, now 5 Waters, now 6 Waters. Well done. Okay, so where does New Zealand First sit on this? What are you going to do if you get a say in the next government?
Well, we have been as clear as daylight. We stopped it when we were there. Any attempt at the movement of assets on the basis of water to Maori ownership and control, which is what's going to happen in those 4 major bodies that are set up around the country, we said that we would never agree with any of that sort of stuff. And, of course, they didn't say it until we'd gone. They did all the work when we were there secretly and behind closed doors, and that's why I've ruled them out ever working with that bunch in the future, because they simply cannot be trusted. This is terrible to sit when you think about it, and it's all based on the fact that at Havelock North we had a problem. Now, we've always had ongoing problems with water for decades, but we were handling it, and they saw it as a Trojan horse opportunity to shift the ownership of water in this country, now 5 Waters and parks, to Maori. And that is deceitful in the extreme. Ordinary Maori are going to get condemned for this, but they didn't ask for it. It's their self-appointed leaders who keep on demanding these extreme things, and they need to be out and exposed in the 2023 campaign, and that's precisely what me and my colleagues in New Zealand First intend to do.
Right, you said you won't be lied to again. You're not going to work with this current Labour lot. Do you know what that means? That means you're going to have to work with David Seymour. How's that going to work?
Isn't it extraordinary? Look, we're on talking about real farming issues, and you want to have permutations of the future. Well, why don't you go and ask Seymour? Why don't you go and ask Seymour this?
I asked Seymour on Monday's show. He said he doesn't want to work with you.
Yeah, okay, but let me tell you this. When Seymour was pushing his euthanasia legislation and got stuffed, and he knew he couldn't get it passed, guess who he came to see? He came to ask me if I could help him. I said, yes, I can, but you've got to do this. You put your bill on, you get it passed, you make it subject to a referendum by the New Zealand people before it becomes a fact. And he did that, and he got passed, and he sent me a letter thanking me. This guy I should ask the question, is that true, Mr. Seymour, or not? When you needed someone desperately, you went to the very person you didn't like, and he didn't take his animosity towards you and put it first. He thought the issue needed to go to the New Zealand people, the New Zealand people would decide. That's the truth.
Can I make a final observation? I've been following politics keenly for a number of years. I don't think you'll get past 5% unless people know, well and truly, set in concrete where you stand.
Well, you stick to running the country show, and I'll stick to being the longest-serving politician in this country in modern times. How about that?
All right, on that word, we'll let you go. Always good to chew the fat. We agreed on most things, I think. See you later.
Thank you very much. Cheers.